You're just happy that's over.
I'm just happy that's over. Did you ever have like a nightmare that kind of stuck with you from childhood?
Yes, to the point where I don't even want to go into it.
Really?
Yeah.
And you remember it really vividly, and it like has always stuck with you and
Yep.
haunted you, so to speak.
Yeah, I think about it often.
Me too. I have one too,
Really?
which is why I opened with that, so we can have an open dialogue about nightmares. And
Hey, what I can talk about though is, have you ever heard of the movie The Peanut Butter Solution?
we talked about this before.
Did we?
I believe.
Not on the podcast. I don't
Maybe
think.
I don't know. No.
But I wouldn't be surprised if I talked to you before. So that's a no.
Yeah. No. Peanut Butter Falcon. Yes.
One of the interesting things about it is I think it was the first Celine Dion did her first song in English for that soundtrack. If
Okay.
I remember correctly, which
Okay.
is just strange
Yeah.
in itself. But the movie is like a kid's David Lynch. I mean, really
Jacob's Ladder kind of
fucked
thing.
up. They make this peanut butter solution and they put it on their heads and their hair grows.
Not to get gum out.
Their hair grows rapidly. And this evil guy uses the hair for bristles on brushes. And I used to, when I was probably like 5 years old, and even my mom remembers me like watching that movie and
Being terrified.
running out in the middle of the night and not being able to sleep
Oh,
because of
no.
the images from this. And I went online recently, and it's that way for a lot of people.
Oh, crazy!
too.
So there's like a little support group.
Yeah, there
for-
is, to the point where recently they released like a 2-disc special edition of it.
Oh,
I forget
the
the name of
Criterion
the company.
Collection.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
for
fuck.
independent movies
Oh,
or whatever the
shit.
hell you want to call
And
this
Celine
thing.
Dion did the song for it.
Yeah.
You know, pre-Titanic.
Yeah. No, you and I are going to watch it together.
I really want to.
One of the
yeah.
kids, at one point in the movie, you see hair growing out of the bottom of his pant leg.
Oh,
So you
no.
can only imagine where he smeared it and the type of humor.
Yeah.
I don't remember. This might have been G. It was G or PG.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's pretty fucked up.
And that's haunted you.
haunted me.
Freddy Krueger has haunted me.
Freddy.
Freddy Krueger has haunted me my whole life.
Wow.
So we had in Arizona growing up, my grandma lived with us and we had an add-on built to the house. And when my sister and I would come home from school, we'd go through her entrance and, then walk through the laundry room into our house. And I had this dream that I walked in and my grandma and my mom are sitting at the table and my grandma's like, "Oh, look how good Mikey is. He won't get chocolate. He'll go get fruit for a snack after school." And I'm like, "Look at me. And I'm walking through the laundry room. So proud of myself. Yes, I don't need chocolate or Pop-Tarts. I need an apple." And I'm through the family room, through to the dining room, to the kitchen. We had a big house, Arizona, back in the day. It was cheap to live there. It was amazing. And I walked to the refrigerator. So right next to the refrigerator was the hallway that led to the living room, and down the hallway were the bedrooms. And so I'm opening the refrigerator, and I open it so you can't see the hallway, the entrance into the hallway anymore, and it's all lit up. And I pull out an apple, and I close the door, and there's my dad, but he's in the Freddy Krueger sweater.
No.
Yeah. And I'm trying to run away, and it's one of those dreams where you're running so slowly, and I can see the hallway back to the laundry room, and I'm trying to run and I can't, and he's constantly right behind me. It was, yeah. So it's fucking stuck with me my whole life.
He was wearing a sweater that resembled it, or he intentionally.
The Freddy Krueger sweater.
Really?
So basically, in my mind, my dad was Freddy Krueger.
Oh, so he was trying to scare you.
In the dream.
In real life?
No, this was a dream.
Oh, this was
is
a
a
dream.
dream.
Okay,
This is
okay,
the
okay.
dream of that
Okay.
shit that I've kept with
Gotcha.
me. Yeah. I think about it all the time. It's so, I mean, my dad, the reason why is because my dad was a child himself, having a child, did not know how to what the child's limits were, I guess you could say. So he had this switchblade. He would hold it up to his finger, press the button so the blade would flip up and go, "This is God."
Wow.
He would to get me to freak out and run away.
Yeah.
But I always loved Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, there was, we grew up with Jason and Freddy. My sister liked Jason. I liked Freddy. She did not like Freddy. I think Jason didn't scare me because part 6, Jason left a room full of children alone, but Freddy Krueger was all about killing kids, and that just frightened me, and I liked that feeling. But the funny thing is when I would get scared from these dreams, I would run to my parents' room and sleep on the floor next to my mom, because my mom would protect me from anything. It could be because my dad freaked the shit out of me constantly trying to find that fear.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous that you have Freddy like in that way, because you're able to watch these movies and it probably stirs up different emotions within you that it wouldn't me, because Freddy was just always a scary character.
I still get afraid to pee in the middle of the night when it's completely dark out
because of
Freddy. Wow. Like if I turn on the light, I go to the bathroom, I close the door, I turn on the light. I do not turn the light off until I open the door to make sure that he's not on the other side. In part 3, when Kirsten was turning the faucet handle to turn on the water, it was one of those that made the cross, and so she puts her hand on it to turn it on, and then it turns into Freddy's hand and it like holds on to her, and that always freaked me out. Yeah. Whenever I went to the bathroom and saw someone had that type of faucets, and I'm like, I'll just use my finger to turn it on.
So now I'm curious, do you have any Freddy toys?
Yes, I have that Movie Maniac toy that I told you about earlier. And yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, Todd McFarlane came out with like this big ass fucking, 18-inch maybe, motion censored Freddy, where anytime you walked by it, it would play the 1-2 Freddy's coming for you. Oh, sweet. And then it would do the "This is God" sound.
Yeah.
And my buddy had it. I was always envious of him for that. But they made multiple versions of Freddy. They made NECA makes them. But I'm not a NECA collector, so I don't really have them. I just have the one I had from years ago.
So let's say you have this Freddy out on display. Yeah.
No, it's packed away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. But to go along with what I'm assuming you're hinting at, he came with a little puppet. If you remember in part 3, the guy who makes puppets, one of them transformed into a little Freddy. And it came with one of those. My friend Steve stole it from me, that motherfucker. Oh. He used to take things out of my room and then eventually be like, "Hey, did you notice anything missing?"
Oh, what a fucker.
And we were at this Denny's type of place called Sherry's, and he told me, and he gave it back to me, obviously, and I fucking left it there. I was so pissed. But anyways, I would have them displayed, and they all came with these awesome little movie posters, like decorated in bones. And I'd have them in front of them, and then I would lay in my top bunk because I was a 18-year-old with a bunk bed, and imagining that puppet coming to life and coming after me.
So let's say,
even though I know it's not going to fucking happen, I know it's not real.
Let's say at the age you are now, let's say you did have it displayed.
Yeah.
You came out in the middle of the night. That thing wasn't there. Would you be a rational person and maybe wake up your girlfriend and say, "Hey, did you do something with that?"
Would you move this?
Would you immediately panic?
A second, I would panic, but then the rationality will kick in, and then I realize this is real. This isn't like we were talking about earlier. People don't want to see supernatural horror movies; they want to see horror of real life.
Okay, let's take.
Then I would be like, oh my god, where the fuck did it go? Oh, it's just probably somebody hit it.
Let's take it one step further. All right, you walk out, the figure isn't there.
Yeah,
it's disappeared somewhere. You don't know.
Is this like 3 a.m.?
Yeah, let's say more like 2:30.
Okay.
Let's get real detailed on this.
Yeah.
So you walk around, the little panic attack you had goes
It's
away
gone.
real quick.
I'm good. I'm
real
good.
quick. You go to the bathroom. The faucet's running. The faucet's running.
Who the fuck?
So
turned
you're
this
like,
on?
hey,
Who turned this
you
on?
left the faucet on, right? You walk out. Your girlfriend's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you sitting now?
Now I'm in panic mode.
Yeah.
Now I'm constantly pinching my face. Am I fucking dreaming? Is this fucking real? I mean, I do believe our apartment's haunted. I do believe that because we buy so much stuff from estate sales, and who do you get stuff from estate sales? Is from dead people. So I'm sure I've brought fucking ghosts because things have fallen over that should not be fallen over. Like they stood up perfectly fine for like 6 days, walking up and down the fucking in front of the TV stand, and then just one day it falls over. Get the fuck out of here. There's a fucking ghost in here.
I truly wish something would have fallen over the moment you said that.
Like I just brought a ghost with me.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sequilibrium.
Hey,
My name's Mike.
Chad.
That's our long opening about fear and horror. And today we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. One of my favorite in the series.
You just said part 3.
Part 2, sorry. Because I have Part 3 stuck in my head thinking about the puppet.
It's like we ain't doing.
I'm not
part
lying.
3.
Part 2 is one of my favorite in the series, aside from Part 1.
We have to worry about commercials.
Yeah, we're watching it on Tubi again. We haven't watched it yet, and I think I'm more afraid of the commercials than I am of being embarrassed by Jesse's dance scene. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see it. And it's going to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So how well do you remember
I
Nightmare
really don't.
at all, Part 2?
Not really.
Do you remember 1
And I
at
told
all?
you, yeah. And I
Okay.
told you I should have rewatched 1.
I mean, yes,
didn't even
of
cross
course you
my
should.
mind.
1 for
It
me,
didn't.
I watch 1 constantly. Not constantly, because that would make it sound like that's all I watch. But I watch it on a regular basis. I've probably seen it, 2 times in the last year.
Because Heather is back in the second one. Yeah.
Nancy?
Yeah.
No.
No?
She comes back in the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her real name's Heather.
Heather Langenkamp or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want to try. I didn't want to attempt the last.
I mean, it
one.
definitely.
I'm glad you butchered it.
I mean,
I didn't have to.
I don't think I butchered it, but if I did,
Let me hear it again.
Langenkamp.
Maybe.
Do you want me to look it up?
Do it.
While I look it up, tell me what your favorite thing about the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie was that you could remember.
Well, that was the one with Johnny Depp, right?
Introducing Johnny Depp. That
Introducing
was
Johnny
his
Depp.
first fucking role.
That kill was great. I mean, that sticks out definitely.
Nancy's boyfriend.
Just Freddy himself, I think, in that movie.
Langenkamp. There's no D.
Oh,
There's no D.
okay.
Freddy was really terrifying in it, in like the sense that he seemed supernatural, but he also like seemed like a real person too,
Right.
because you could see the hair around his nipples when he pulled up his sweater.
Because he was kind of different with him and everyone. He wasn't very consistent.
No,
as
I
far
think he
as-
got worse appearance wise as they went down the line, because the first one, he didn't look quite as burnt up. It didn't look quite as latexy. Like a big ass. I mean, it was a mask, but it didn't look, like he had really bad acne scars. Yeah, is basically what he looked like. And so, I mean, you had the elements of like a normal looking person in there. But yeah, as he went down the line, he became more sarcastic and more funny. In his one-liners. You don't really get that many one-liners in 1 and 2. I mean, you do. You have "I'm your boyfriend now." In the second one, you have the body, I have the brains. But then in the third one, you started getting "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
Yeah.
And shit like, "Sorry, kid, I don't believe in fairy tales." And he started saying bitch a lot too. Like all of a sudden he just hated women, not just kids, but women in general. Like when he killed the girl in part 5, the one who had the eating disorder, "Bon appetit, bitch."
Yeah.
He didn't say that to the comic book dude when he
Right.
killed him. He said comic books are bad for you, and then fucking chopped him up.
Yeah. Yeah, we should really watch that whole series.
I'm fucking down. I have them on Blu-ray. I have
not
every
like
single movie on Blu-ray.
It's not like I didn't watch them all the time when I was a kid, so it's weird that they're not more vivid in my mind. Maybe
We
that's
did.
Freddy.
We did.
Fucking with me.
I'll never forget the day we bought 4 and 5 at Blockbuster Video, and then we came home and my dad cut up the cover and like made his own little box instead of the sleeve. He had the boxes. But yeah, we watched them. I would say religiously. Like we liked them a lot as kids. We liked. I liked the older ones more because 1, 2, and 3 are scary as fuck. But 4, 5, and 6 are just funny.
You know what? As great as they are, though, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is still my favorite Nightmare on
Not
Elm Street.
mine. I only saw it once.
Really?
Yeah, I only saw it once because I didn't. I mean, I was a child when I watched it, so I didn't have the appreciation for storytelling. I just liked the one-liners and the violence and like the fear, but I didn't really understand the whole concept of Freddy coming to the real world through Heather's fear and all this other shit. Like I haven't seen it in forever, so like my perception of it is like totally fucking warped.
Yeah, we should
Not a warp, but askew. I need to see it.
Watch that even just for shits and giggles because I think it's great.
You know what?
Do you remember the part of the movie where, so you know it's real meta, obviously, and Freddy goes out on the talk show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and he came out dressed as Freddy,
right? The way that they interwove that fucking goofy Freddy in that way,
yeah.
You know, I just love that story, and I thought Heather again did an amazing job.
You know, it's kind of a bummer that she didn't get picked up for more horror movie roles. Like, I mean, no one is expecting her to be Jamie Lee Curtis or anything, but like, I would have liked to have seen her used more in horror films. Like, she was a great survivor, which I mean, her death in 3 was fucking cool. It was awesome. Yeah. And like the way she helped the kids and the way she, you know, survived herself in the first one, that character was awesome. So it's like that actress can play these kinds of fucking characters, and they should have used her more. I feel like now she's just a con circuit type of person.
Yeah, it's too bad. They should bring her back.
So there was a show called Freddy's Nightmare. Did you ever watch that? It was like
No,
it was like a nightmare or a Tales from the Dark Side kind of show. Tales from the Crypt, hosted by Freddy Krueger and
Robert Englund. You mean?
Yeah. And there was, I mean, I remember watching episodes and then losing interest after the Freddy segments. But there was one, I looked it up, and it was like, I think it was the story of Fred Krueger's trial before he became, you know, the night demon, the night guy. The night guy. But I don't understand why there's no expanded universe or fan fiction like about pre-Freddy Krueger, you know, like or more explanation as to I mean, I get the dream demons from part 6 and all that shit, but like, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it has such a big fan base. I just don't know why there hasn't really been that much, but I also haven't really sought it out. Mm-hmm. But I definitely know you can't go to fucking Barnes & Noble and be like, hey, do you have the expanded universe of Nightmare on Elm Street? Though I feel like there should be. That's my hot take on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
What did you think of the remake? Did you ever see the remake?
I didn't like it.
I liked it.
Did you?
I was really hoping it was going to spawn again a new era of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like Michael Bay did those movies, that one and the Friday the 13th, with the new Jason and all that shit. So I was just kind of hoping it would respawn the love for it. I mean, God, how many new fucking Leatherfaces have we had? Yeah. How many new Child's Plays have we had? How many fucking Hellraisers? I mean, I'm sure they're still doing Hellraisers, or did. I can't remember. Puppet Master, for fucking Christ's sake. There's how many of those fucking movies? So, like, I thought he did, the dude who played Rorschach, what is his name? James Earl Haley or something like that? I can't remember. I thought he did a good job as Freddy. I liked the whole concept of making him a child molester, because that was the original intention for Freddy, but the reason why they went killer was because there was a big child molester thing going on in LA at that time. So they kind of like, for sensitivity issues, changed the story. But I mean, I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was gory. It was the right amount of gore. It was fucking cool. Like they should have been made for big profits. It should have been made for entertainment purposes.
I don't know. Things like that, I really have to give multiple chances because you have such a connection to Robert Englund as that character that.
Oh yeah, when he tried some of the lines, I was a little upset.
Yeah,
like one of the lines he tried was, "How's this for a wet dream?" Which I can't remember the context he used it in the remake, but in part 4 when he used it because he was killing Joey in a fucking waterbed after he was getting all horny for a naked girl under the water. So it made sense for him to say, "How's this for a wet dream?" in that type of context. It was not said in that type of setting in the remake. So I was like, you better not do Welcome to Primetime, bitch, because I'm going to be fucking pissed. It'd be like yelling "Welcome to Primetime, bitch" when, like, I don't know, some fucking unwarranted setting in a dream.
All right, man. Well, should we watch The Night Guy in action?
Oh my God, I can't wait to watch part 2. I saw it a few months ago. I'm still so stoked to see it again. It made me terrified to take buses for the longest fucking time to school. We didn't have to take a bus, thank God, for a long time. But yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I cannot wait to talk about all my favorite things about it. And all the fucking silly things about it.
Excited to watch it with you.
All right, we'll be back with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Could you name a single horror movie in history that had a musical montage?
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. You know, one thing this movie was missing was the scene of a guy cleaning up his room to music. And we got that. Okay, first impressions of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Go. Oh, I guess not first impressions. Maybe first impressions.
Well, let me just say that your fear didn't go unnoticed because there were a couple times I looked over at you and you were damn near biting your nails.
Like which scenes in particular?
Beginning, the bus scene,
dude, totally,
for sure.
Totally. That I mean, that is more frightening than Nancy or Tina running through the boiler room and then that lamb going, meh.
Yeah.
You know, Freddy building his glove and all that. I feel like the bus scene was way more intense than that.
And then also the scene where the kid opened the fridge, closed it, and saw his dad behind in the sweater. Did you like that part? Now, there was one other one. I mean, you could probably tell me that you were really freaked out by. It was probably about halfway through. It wasn't quite to where it picks up all the way to the end.
I mean, there's a lot of like not scared moments, but surprise moments. Like when he was, when Jesse was holding the door and Freddy was like trying to open it from the other side, and then he's like turn around and then like boom, he was right there for sure. Yeah. I mean this whole movie was those kinds of scare moments.
Like you said, the transformation scene was really great.
So fucking cool. Like I that was a scene that I always enjoyed as a kid with like the blades coming through the fingers. He has to cut his chest open to get Freddy out of him. That whole scene was fucking top notch.
Nowhere near as good as the first.
No, not by any stretch. You know, like the first is the first is great. The first is so great, but like, I mean, you see the difference in a Freddy movie in this one, and it's the second one that you had that like straight, like kind of like Halloween 1, 2, and then all of a sudden you got 3 where it's like a completely different movie. I mean, granted, this one still has Freddy in it versus like Halloween 3 not having Myers, but the whole the difference of like Freddy can't kill you in your dreams because he doesn't have the power out of the fear that people gave him yet, so he's haunting this kid. That's all he can do is just like, you know, knock something over or turn the heat up in the house. Oh, it's 96 degrees in here. My bird's gonna blow up because it's so hot. Like that's what I loved so much about this is like Freddy's out in the real world killing these people, because he possessed this kid to do it. So fucking cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I guess you could say even as a kid, I also knew that there was some kind of undertone to this movie, and the director was also like, there was a lot of like homosexual elements in it, as if they were like trying to say something. And that actor who played Jesse, Mark Patton, this movie, I believe, essentially is caused him to come out of the closet back then.
Really?
Like, yeah. And he kind of like got out of the Hollywood light because of it.
No boobs. That was awfully surprising.
There's some squeezing.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Squeezing.
Some Freddy tongue action.
Yeah.
Also, like other people in this movie that I seen in other movies, like Grady was Max in Weird Science, Robert Downey Jr.'s buddy. Jesse's dad was Bert in Return of the Living Dead, which you were saying earlier about like announcing which episode we were going to do based on like elements of what we've just discussed or whatever from the movie. At least that's kind of what I think we got out of there. Kind of like my thumbtack text in someone's face where there's like that misunderstanding.
So easy in my mind.
I know. To me, I'm just like, how do I get there? But I was going to say we should do Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
For just
the next
for an
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
not
got
necessarily what I was talking about.
Not what you were talking about at all. Who else was in it? The Grady? No, Schneider, right? The PE coach, the one who caught Jesse in the gay bar.
Yeah.
Who he had to like drive him back to school and make him run laps to make up for that.
Get in the shower.
Yeah. I know I've seen him in other things, but the only thing I can think of is the Hitman from Twins.
Oh,
he was the Hitman in Twins.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. I think he was in Airheads. I think he was like the hostage negotiator, the one who was like talking about the pool cleaner having sex with his wife. Yeah. Background people basically just being like, oh, I know you. Let's do a movie that you were in.
Yeah.
They are doing a Twins 2, by the way.
I know. I heard
to speak
that.
about Twins. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really write a whole lot of notes about it because there wasn't really a whole lot to like complain about other than the obvious of the bad acting. And does that make a movie bad?
I don't know about the girly scream.
Oh, well, okay. That was the other thing I was going to bring up about him. He did a documentary about this movie, Mark Patton, and I think it's called like Scream Queen or something.
Huh.
Because I mean, if you think about it, he was going for that.
Yeah.
Because he was in the beginning when he fucking screams and his sister's like, "Can't Jesse wake up like a normal person?"
Yeah.
Okay, so this one takes place 5 years after the original one, is what they said, and it was released a year after the first one, so it's like that 5 year and that story gap. So when does the third one take place? Right, because so the third one, Nancy comes back to help the kids in the psych ward and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And the house obviously is abandoned. Kirsten's doing the paper mache of it in the beginning. I'm trying to figure out timeline here. like when did 3 happen?
Yeah.
Is it going on at this moment?
So how many did they have? 7?
Yeah, 7 counting New Nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2 was Freddy's Revenge, 3 was Dream Warriors, 4 was...
Isn't it Dead? Freddy's Dead?
No, that's
4?
6.
That's 6?
Yeah. 5 was Dream Child. What was 4? Oh, this is going to bug me, so I'm going to look it up.
You better look it up. At the same time, look up the budget for 1 and 2.
Okay. Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, Nightmare on Elm Street 1. The budget on that was... Doesn't say, just filming locations. Oh, here we go. Box office. Budget was $1.8 million estimated. Worldwide gross was 25.5. And then
Wait, that was the first one?
Yeah.
Read that again?
1.8 was the budget. Gross worldwide was 2.5.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And part 2 budget was 3 million. Worldwide gross was 2.29 million.
Right. 29. Okay,
wow,
that makes
that's
sense.
awesome.
It's only because everyone liked the first one so much.
4 was called the Dream Master because Alice had the ability to like control her dreams.
What
and
about
put people
5?
into her dream.
What
5 was Dream Child.
Okay.
5 was when Alice was pregnant and the child was dreaming, and that's how Freddy was brought back. Like, you know, growing up as a kid watching these, you know, again, like we were saying, you don't really watch them for the story. You really watch it for what's happening. And I would say almost now is when I came to the realization that it was fear is what gave Freddy his power.
Yeah.
Even though the first one he died because Nancy turned his back on her and he had no power. This one died because this one ended because Alice is like, was that her name? Lisa. Lisa was like, you know, I'm not afraid of you. I love you, Lisa.
Yeah.
That part was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Freddy.
Yeah, I definitely liked Freddy in this one. You know, the line delivery, just the look.
There really wasn't a whole lot to the things that he said either,
Right.
which, you know, he didn't have that banter that, you know, that's what made, I would say, even though he had banter in 3, 4, 5, and 6, and Freddy's Dead, which was 6, yeah. He wasn't as scary because he had the banter.
Yeah.
You know, in the 6th when he's like, power glove when he's playing the video game and, you know, whatever, blah, blah. Roseanne and Tom Arnold were in it.
Oh, yeah.
Alice Cooper was in it. But yeah, 1 and 2, he definitely, you know, had that, like, he was an intimidating, scary character.
Yeah, it just became a parody of himself later on, seemed like. Which is, I think, why I liked Wes Craven's New Nightmares so much, because it really was. It was back to scary, and Freddy himself was awesome. I don't think there was much comedy in it.
I mean,
if I remember right.
That's the one where he's wearing the leather pants and the leather trench coat.
Oh, I don't think so.
He was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. He was. But yeah, no, there was no comedy in it. There was no Super Freddy. There was no Power Glove Freddy. There was, God, what were some of the other dumb kills? Oh yeah, when he was the motorcycle in part 5, and you know,
Yeah,
all that
that's
fucking
right.
stupid shit.
Yeah.
I love this one because of the fucking flame glowing up behind him, and he stretches his arms out and he says, "You're all my children now."
Yeah.
Like what? No, this is something that I thought about watching it when we were watching that and seeing that scene. Do you know how like every fucking movie, there's always the last child of Elm Street?
Right.
You know,
Right,
like part 6, you know, the kid who got amnesia, he's like the last child of Elm Street. What if all those kids are kids from those kids?
All those,
The ones where he said, "You're all my children now." So he's like, okay, you know, you're my kids now. So when you have kids, I'm going to start haunting them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
What if that was because so like, Freddy's killing the kids in the first one because their parents killed him. He's getting revenge on them for killing him. And then, so once he's done killing all them, who's he got left to kill? So he's got to create new Elm Street kids, new reasons. You know, you keep fucking with me. All I want to do is get in and out, but you keep fucking with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take you all out now.
Right.
That's what Freddy does.
Yeah, I want a replica glove. I've always wanted one of those replica.
I had a toy one.
Yeah.
Nothing cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was like kind of fun to have. It was a prop. They did do decent replicas at like, you know, Spirit Halloween and shit. And what was it? Oh yeah, and I was going to talk about the toys. This is like the thing about Nightmare, you know, that I love to bring up whenever we watch a movie that has a toy line, is they had this Freddy toy line, which I feel like I brought it up, but like you could basically create Freddy Krueger. He's a normal guy, and then you put on like a mask.
Yeah, that's really
the
cool.
glove. Yeah. LJN, I think, put out like a plush doll of Freddy, pull string thing maybe, but there was definitely Freddy toys. There was the Nightmare on Elm Street video game. They even did that Friday the 13th video game too, but that was for Nintendo. You know, that was so. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the game sucked.
I mean, I loved it then. Just I loved playing anything around that time.
So who is your favorite? You know, so you got Nancy, Jesse, Kirsten, and Alice. Who's your favorite?
Nancy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
she's the best.
She's cutie too.
She was so cool, man.
Yeah.
Like
she still is, even in her old age. Yeah, I watch interviews with her. She could come back and do something. I'm sure of it.
There's like a 6-hour or 4-hour long documentary called "Never Sleep Again" about Nightmare on Elm Street that I've never watched, and I've always wanted to. Just never.
How long?
It's like 4 hours long.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like Justice League, where you just do it in seven.
I didn't watch.
You never finished it?
No, I didn't.
Dude,
I fell asleep that day.
That's fine. Like I said, you just watch it in segments.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it. You'll love it. It's so good.
I think our pizza's here.
Finally?
I think.
Uh-oh. All right.
Hold on.
Pizza break. We'll be back. Okay, that pizza hit the spot.
Sure did.
Kind of slowed things down a little bit.
Yeah, it did. I mean, now I'm like, what more do we have to say about Friday the 13th?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't watch Friday the 13th. We could say how the pepperoni...
We could say a lot.
The pepperoni pizza made me think of Freddy Krueger's face.
Huh?
I mean, that's kind of like, you know, themed, I guess. I pulled up some IMDb trivia from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, so I'm going to get back to that and out of Fantastic Beasts. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
That was my nickname in high school.
Fantastic Beast?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I doubt it was. This is Robert Englund's least favorite Nightmare movie. That's weird. Michael J. Fox was considered for the role of Jesse, but because of Back to the Future and Teen Wolf, he couldn't do it. What kind of movie would this have been if fucking Michael J. Fox was fucking Jesse? I mean, like, it was almost as if they wrote that role for a gay character. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they like kind of forced him to be straight with Lisa just for like the audience purposes. The other thing that I read on here too that I thought was interesting was that they didn't want to do Robert Englund again. They went with somebody else to be Freddy Krueger, and like, cause he wanted a pay raise. And like 2 weeks later, they were like, this isn't going to work, and went back and got Robert Englund.
Naturally. And
there was that scene when Jesse was in the shower and it was getting all steamed up and Freddy was about to appear, and Freddy came and he just kind of stood differently as if it weren't Robert Englund, as if it were like Jesse in the costume.
Yeah.
And that almost made me, or that made me realize that maybe that wasn't even Robert Englund. Maybe that was the person they used versus to save money and not reshoot that scene.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they shot for 2 weeks, so obviously they used him for certain scenes.
Yeah, because England's whole stance is just, trademark.
Totally. And the guy stood, whoever that was so stiff. And, I mean, maybe it was Robert Englund. Maybe it was like that time when I was telling my parents about Wedding Singer 2, or Wedding Singer, and how Billy Idol was at the end of the movie. And I was like, but it probably wasn't him. And if it was a bad representation. Turned out it really was Billy Idol. And I'm just dogging on Billy Idol and his performances. But yeah, I mean, what else is there to say about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 other than, it is what it is. It's got a deeper story. It doesn't have to be funny and silly and stupid, and Freddy doesn't need to be killing people constantly, because I mean, he killed Grady, Schneider, and then some rando people at the pool party.
Are you a fan of Freddy versus Jason?
For the comedy purposes of it, but it sits wrong with me now on some scenes, like when he goes to the Destiny's Child chick. What was her name? Carrie or Terry? I don't know. The one that didn't make it. He goes, "How sweet, dark meat." Like, I don't think Freddy needed to say shit like that.
Yeah, the child molester,
right? Yeah. The guy who played the Jason Mewes type of character, Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, the stoner kid, like, I don't know.
I bring that up because
let me handle it, bitch.
I'll never forget. I was so excited for Freddy versus Jason. I think we all were because,
totally.
The hand coming up at the end of what was it? Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 94. We didn't get Freddy versus Jason until I think 2003 or 4.
It was 3. Yeah, it was like 3.
And I was so excited, and I was wildly disappointed when I went to the theater and watched it. And even now, I think it's a piece of shit.
I got what I expected out of it when I saw it.
Just Freddy's whole narration at the beginning just took me out of it immediately.
With his sharp-ass teeth and like, I can't kill if nobody remembers me. Right. Yeah. We had been waiting for that our whole lives, and I don't necessarily want to say it was a letdown. It could have been a million times better. They did do a really funny like MGM pre-fight type of press conference with Freddy and Jason, like the weigh-in. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Like they kind of went a lot out of the way to do the advertising for this thing that was supposed to be so great, something that everyone had been waiting for since 1984, and then it was just like that.
And when you think about it, there was never really any reason for us to expect it to be great. Those two characters,
I know,
like
right?
up against each other, just doesn't.
There were there were things about it that I thought were funny. Inside Jason's dream, when Freddy was the counselor and he was having sex with that chick, and he's like, "She's dead weight," and he like plays with her as a puppet.
There's a part where he like uses his magic powers to knock over some like metal poles into Jason. I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
Freddy.
He's standing up there playing pinball with him, like miming pinball, and then like he throws the machete into him, and then like uses the glove to like pick up these metal plates and like clink 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 push the thing. Yeah, totally.
So
like
silly.
Like giving him Beetlejuice type of powers. Like, what the fuck is that? He's a fucking slasher. He's a fucking, like, he uses a glove. If he scratches you, he kills you with this thing. That's magic in its own.
Right.
Yeah. Bullshit. What do you give this movie out of 10? What do you give Nightmare on Elm Street 2? Freddy's Revenge.
5.
That's 5. That's standard. Right now it's 5.5.
Yeah.
It's a standard. I gave it a 6. Probably 2 for nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's
I was leaning towards a 4, but just I don't know. It might be a 4, to be honest.
I mean, it might be, but that doesn't mean I still don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll still give it a 4.
It'll be a while before I watch this one again.
There's some fun downright hatred, though.
Although it does make me excited to see the others, so it's got that going for it.
A beautiful thing is there's no continuity. You jump into 3, you're great. You don't need to even worry about 2 ever again. Just put it out of your mind.
Right.
3 and Freddy versus Jason had a connection with Hypnosil. It was the drug that they were prescribing the children to stop them from dreaming, and it was what Nancy was taking.
Oh, okay.
In part 3, when her like bag fell over. God, I love part 3 so much. You get fucking Freddy's mom. What was her name? Amanda Kruger. You get like her in there. You get the story of the son of 100 maniacs or 1,000 maniacs or whatever. I can't remember. It's not that Natalie Merchant band. But the downright hatred, the 1 stars. I mean, there's like long fucking paragraphs like, "Fuck this movie," and so I'm gonna give this first one. You ready for it?
Let's hear it.
I don't see how Freddy gets revenge. It's the title. I don't see any of the revenge. Where's the revenge? This whole time I'm waiting for him to get revenge. He doesn't get revenge. The hard to please critic. In quotations, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. So the title is I don't see how Freddy gets revenge, and then the subtitle is Hard to Please Critic. Okay. Well, first of, let me say this movie sucked a lot The beginning shows a school bus going to nowhere, and then all of a sudden it's in the desert and you hear Freddy laughing. Then the main character wakes up and realizes it's a dream. Then he keeps dreaming. Nothing happens except Freddy laughs. Then more into the movie, he kills a phys ed teacher. But wait, I thought he only killed kids in their dreams. But he killed an adult in the real world. Then all the kids are at this party and Freddy comes and none of them are dreaming. Then the most idiotic ending. The main character becomes Freddy. Then the whole bus scene is shown. I don't think this had anything or made any sense with the original plot. This movie sucked a major load of balls. Overall grade F.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, Freddy only kills kids in their dreams, but he's getting revenge, and so that's why he killed. The teacher bullies Jesse. Who does Jesse go after to kill? The first person he goes after and kill. The teacher. Freddy's getting revenge. Boom, there's your revenge. I found it for you. I wish I can go back in time and tell you about this. FEP_3000. Let's see. Homoerotica. This is from 2021. Last November. Our protagonist, Mark Patton, is a gay man in real life. The Easter egg in this movie are everywhere giving us clues. Other than that interesting and fun part, this is a cheap, quickly made money grab of a movie that's terrible. The spontaneous combustion parakeet was unique. That's about it. So they're griping about a movie that was 25 years ago, 35 years ago. All right, this will be the last one. Wait, is this the one that I wanted to read? The weak one in the series of sequels. The movie takes place 5 years after the events of the first film. None of the cast from the first film return. The Welches have moved into the house that Nancy once lived. I didn't like Nightmare 2 as much. The movie is about Freddy trying to take over the body of Jesse. The movie has great special effects by Kevin Yeager. Robert plays the bus driver in the beginning of the film. The film picks up during the last half of the film. Nancy is only mentioned in a diary that she left in the house that is found by Lisa and by Jesse's best friend Ron.
Hey, Kevin Yeager, I think he's the one that worked on Child's Play as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This chapter in the series is for diehard Nightmare fans only. I thought the third one was better, and it brought back the Nancy character back and the dad back, so I would skip 2 altogether. I wouldn't skip 2 at all.
I will now because we just watched it.
I mean, yeah, but like, why did you ever need to see this one again for like a long ass time? But like, why would you want to gripe about like the fact that Nancy wasn't in it? Don't you want like a completely new story? A completely like, you know, the house is here. Nancy's reference. Now we have a new character. Now we have a new reason why Freddy is terrorizing. Yeah. Because the first one takes place in 1981. I read that in the trivia, which makes this one 1986. So part 3 is like 2 years later. But like, I still wouldn't get any of the complaints about it. I still wouldn't give it like make it a terrible movie because Heather Langenkamp wasn't in it. Yeah, that's not fair. Right. It still had all. I mean, I think it was just scarier. You know, Freddy's moments on screen were probably scarier than the first one. Maybe. You want to search for sequels?
Search for sequels?
Yeah, didn't you say you wanted to search for sequels? Did we finally get this right?
When we do the episode.
When we do what episode?
Exactly.
We're doing the episode right now.
No, you got it. When we do the unplanned episode, we'll start recording and then we'll search for a sequel. That'll be part of the episode.
So when I come over next week, you don't want anything planned, right? And then we're gonna start recording, and then we're like, we're gonna
gonna talk about what we're finding. We're gonna agree on a sequel.
Okay,
we're gonna go from there.
I can get behind that.
Are we on the same page?
We are
now?
Finally on the same page. I still want to do Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Yeah,
someday.
Right.
All right. Instagram. We are at Sequilibrium_. Email us at sequilibriumpodcast@gmail.com. YouTube, Sequilibrium. Facebook, Sequilibrium.
We're all over the place.
So find us, check us out, send us mail, whatever. I don't care.
Soon to be video on Spotify.
Do you have a favorite Freddy quote you want to end with?
No.
Sorry, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales.